I know this is going to sound like blasphemy coming from an anime and manga fan, but I have never once seen an episode of Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, I know I'm late on this one. Akira Toriyama passed away on March 1st, a couple of weeks ago.
Manga fans are mourning the death of a Japanese legend.
And to be honest, I wasn't sure about how to address it, because I don't even consider myself a casual Dragon Ball Z fan, when I know there are thousands upon thousands of die-hard Dragon Ball Z fans out there. So I wasn't sure if anything I had to say would carry any weight or offer anything worth hearing. But now that I think about it, I don't think you have to be a casual fan or even a die-hard fan to appreciate somebody's work. The crazy thing about Dragon Ball Z to me is that even though I haven't seen the show, if somebody says Goku or Gohan, Krillin, Trunks, Vegeta, Frieza, Cell, Majin Buu, these characters instantly pop up in my mind, along with their costumes, with me not having seen the show. And what that says to me is that the world that Toriyama created, it reaches beyond its fans. You have to consider that there are hundreds upon hundreds of manga stories published here in Japan. And just to get one published is already an accomplishment in and of itself. But then to go on to be one of the best-selling manga comic books of all time is crazy. But then to go even further and create something that has such an international reach, it's really rare. And I think with Dragon Ball Z, it didn't just permeate Japanese culture, it permeated American culture, international culture, and internet culture, right? If you're under a certain age, like what, maybe 55 or so, I'm sure you probably know what it means to go Super Saiyan. I would get back to my dorm from my college classes in the afternoon sometimes and just see a group of grown-ass adult young men sitting in front of a big screen television not saying a single word. Why? Because they were locked into Dragon Ball Z. I mean, you could probably run into the dorm and yell fire, and these dudes would still just not be moving because they were so into this cartoon. And I guess it just speaks to the world that Toriyama created and how much people got into it. And I guess my connection to Toriyama's work is a little bit more obscure because I know most people, especially in the US, your mind jumps straight to Dragon Ball Z. But for me, my mind actually jumps to the original Dragon Ball. Because I have seen some of that. And when I first got here to Japan, I couldn't speak a lick of Japanese, like nothing. And once I started reading textbooks and getting a little bit of a handle on the language, I think one of my first forays into going outside of my textbook to try something a little bit more challenging, I started buying just a couple of volumes of manga. And the two manga that I remember buying first, one of them was Naruto, and then the other one was Dragon Ball Z. And I think as far as the anime goes, Dragon Ball, probably more so than Naruto, was really beginner friendly. It's just the way that the dialogue comes out. It's just a lot less intimidating, and it had a story behind it. So I just thought it was kind of fun. My mind also jumps to the Dragon Quest games, namely Dragon Quest 8, I think. I really enjoyed that game, and I know Toriyama and his studio kind of had a hand in, not kind of, they did the character design for that game. I know they did character design for that old school game back in the day, Chrono Trigger. And yeah, it's just like you don't even realize just how far reaching some of his work was. And you can't do anything but respect it. And just to wrap up real quick, for those of you who are fans, what thing got you into Akira Toriyama's work? Was it Dragon Ball Z? Was it Dragon Ball? Was it the games? Was it something else? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. And if you did watch Dragon Ball Z, what network did you watch it on? And the reason I'm asking is because pre-streaming, a lot of times the way you got exposed to new cartoons was through some cartoon lineup or some block of programming that was already set by the stations, right? Because for me, that's how I started watching Yu Yu Hakusho, Samurai Champloo. I got really into. And to me, because I was really into martial arts and really into anime and manga, it just seems like Dragon Ball Z would have been the perfect intersection. But I guess I wasn't really around watching television during that time slot. So I'm just really curious as to how you got into it. But I know Dragon Ball Z and the work that Toriyama did had a big effect on other manga and anime. And I think that's really cool, man. And I think that man deserves every petal of his flowers. So I just wanted to take a second to give them to him and just say rest in peace and respect to all that you built and all that you created. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.